In a quiet valley where golden fields met the horizon, there stood a large house that everyone in the village knew. It belonged to a kind and wealthy father who lived there with his 2 sons. The house was always peaceful, filled with warmth, laughter, and steady routines. But inside the heart of the younger son, a storm was growing. His name was Kai. Kai often stood at the edge of the fields, staring beyond the hills, imagining a life bigger than the one he knew. The days felt slow, the rules felt heavy. His father's love felt constant, but to Kai, it felt like a cage. One evening, as the sky burned orange and purple, Kai walked up to his father. His hands trembled, but his voice was firm. "Father," he said, "give me my share of the inheritance." The air froze. The older brother looked up sharply. Servants stopped moving. Everyone understood what those words meant. It was not just a request, it was rejection. But the father did not raise his voice. He did not argue. His eyes, filled with sadness and love, rested on Kai for a long moment. Then, quietly, he agreed. Days later, Kai left. With a bag over his shoulder and fire in his eyes, he ran toward the distant city, a place of lights, noise, and endless possibility. The city welcomed him like a dream. Music filled the streets. Friends appeared quickly. Gold flowed freely from his hands. For the first time, Kai felt alive. Days turned into nights, nights into chaos. The money vanished faster than he noticed. The friends faded when the gold was gone. Then the city changed. A famine struck. The streets once full of laughter now echoed with hunger. Kai searched for work until his pride broke. Eventually, he found himself feeding pigs on the outskirts of the city, mud on his clothes, shame in his eyes. One night, sitting alone beneath a cold moon, Kai stared at the pigs eating food he could not touch. His stomach burned with hunger. His heart burned with regret. Memories flooded back. His father's table, warm bread, gentle words. Even the servants at home lived better than this. Tears fell into the dirt. "I was wrong," Kai whispered. "I'll go back, even if I'm not welcomed as a son." With weak legs and a broken spirit, he turned toward home. Far away, beyond the fields, the father stood every day at the edge of the land, scanning the road. He never stopped hoping, never stopped watching. And then he saw him, a thin figure. Slow steps, familiar posture. Kai. Without hesitation, the father ran. His robes flew behind him. Villagers stared in shock. A man of honor did not run like this, but love has no pride. Kai barely lifted his head before arms wrapped around him. He tried to speak. "Father, I sinned." But the father pulled him closer. "Bring the best robe," he called. Put a ring on his finger, sandals on his feet. Kai trembled. "I was lost," the father said, voice breaking. "And now my son is home." Music filled the air once more. Lanterns glowed. A feast was prepared. The house came alive with celebration. But beyond the lights, the older brother stood in the shadows. He had seen everything. Anger burned in his chest. He had stayed. He had obeyed. He had worked without complaint. Yet this broken brother received celebration? When the father came to him, the older son spoke with bitterness. "I gave you everything, and you never celebrated me." The father placed a hand on his shoulder, eyes soft. "My son, you were always with me. Everything I have is yours. But your brother was lost, and now he is found." The wind passed through the fields. The music played on. The story ended not with punishment, but with open arms. Because love, when it is real, always leaves the door open.